told to give these to somebody here.
I'm somebody.
Well, there you go.
Is this for the hanger?
Yeah.
Oh, different setup.
Yeah,
It was that way.
Alright.
Oh,
Okay, alright.
It's a whole new routine. You're very
yeah.
confused.
That probably better this way, and everyone's back is to the door.
Just silence.
How you doing, Rich?
The Wendy left this and said extra copies, but best I can tell, it is a copy. Of all the things.
Oh, so you're up there.
You pick it, just pick a spot.
And I'm totally confused. They're obviously creatures of habit, aren't they?
Yeah. There was another chair that chair was sitting in here.
Well, that was really comfy, wasn't it? Sit comfy chair.
You can see it also.
Oh, well, that feels very efficient. It's a big chair. Well, I'm supposed to know who's here at the meeting, so, and I never know who everybody is, so can I have your name?
Yes, ma'am, I'm Cindy McGrew with Operation Second Chance.
Cindy McGrew, spelled M-C,
MC capital G-R-E-W.
and you're with capital?
Operation Second Chance.
Yes, operation, I read that. Okay, super.
I'm Tex Miller, I'm with Martin and Martin, I'm here on behalf of Cindy.
Okay, good. Tex Miller, that's a good name. And I feel I know you, but I can't think what your name is.
Bob Sharrock.
Yeah, that's right.
S-H-A-R-R-A.
You were here last time.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Is Luther coming?
I don't know.
Sherry had said she was
I was gonna
coming.
say, no, Sherry just sent an email about half hour ago, she's
Oh.
not making it.
Oh,
And Ken's said
Ken's
he's.
not
Ken
coming.
is not making it.
So is,
I don't know about Chris.
Yeah, but we need Luther for, oh, Chris is.
Chris could be an alternate.
and Luther?
I don't know.
Let's hope he makes, he's usually here by now, let's
We'll
hope
do
he
the best
makes
we
it.
can, yes. No, I exercised with a couple of women who I think work with you or volunteer. with you.
Volunteer, yes, or
yes.
you must go over to Fort Ritchie then.
Yes, Fort Ritchie, yes, of
Yeah.
course, yes. Anyway, they were.
Yeah, they're into pickleball and everything over
Oh,
there.
well, they lift weights and all kinds
Yeah,
of good stuff, yes.
They keep telling me, come on over with us.
It's a very
Wish I had
positive,
time.
wonderful place.
Yeah, it looks nice. I guess they have a lot of development getting ready to go over there too. Well, it's kind of,
for John and people who had this vision to make it come back. I mean, what a huge undertaking, but it's coming along.
Yeah, John Krumpetich is a pretty amazing guy.
He is, and I've been taking yoga with his wife for years.
Yeah,
She's wonderful too.
my oldest son played baseball with him at Penmar Little League for a little while.
Yes, they're an extraordinary family.
Yeah, yeah.
And see, I'm trying to get names because I'm the secretary of who's at the meeting, and I feel
I'm
like.
Mike Higgins.
Thank you. Mike Higgins, right?
Higgins, H-I-G-G-I-N-S.
Good name. Good British name.
Thank you, it is.
Well, we don't have a quorum, right, for anything serious? What do we, how many people do we
Everything
have?
we do is serious, I think.
Close enough, close enough?
No, we can't formally make
We can't formally do it.
decisions unless either Chris or Luther show up.
Okay.
I think everything should just pass.
Well, we make recommendations to the supervisors, so we don't formally approve or,
We don't
Plan.
actually have any power, is that what you're saying?
well, we have power to recommend. We have power.
That's always a funny thing in Washington Township because the planning commission is the same people as the supervisors. Yeah.
Interesting.
Anybody go to the fishing rodeo over at the Sportsman's Club last weekend? I heard they stocked a bunch that day or the day before from the fishery, but unfortunately there was that's a pretty shallow pond, and within a couple hours they were all floating at the surface because they got shocked by the going from the cold water to the warm water, not really getting acclimated. That was a real bummer.
Oh, how awful.
Yeah,
Where did they bring them from?
I'm not sure where the hatchery was, but it's that pond's not real deep, and you got the stream coming in, but it's just one. So,
There we go.
Now we're official. I guess I can officially call the meeting to
Yes.
order. As, that's correct, 6:32.
Okay. And officially, do you do the roll call or do I do the roll
You
call?
do the roll
I do
call.
the roll call, so I have to go through everybody and say, Rich, you're here,
Down there.
and Luther, you're here, and you're here, and
Here.
I'm here, so there we go.
And then you mark that Sherry
Sherry and Ken are not present,
are not
yes.
present. And Chris is an alternate.
And he's an alternate, yes, and he is present. We'll list everybody. Learning my way around this. Okay.
So has everybody reviewed minutes? April? Any changes or anything to minutes or, so can I have a motion to approve minutes?
So you're
He's
motioning?
motioning,
Good. I'll motion to second.
all in favor?
Aye. And I did change the FFA to FAA, which I'd done in my first draft.
Two different agencies.
I was reading it through and I thought, no, that's so good.
Future Flyers of America.
There you go, that's right, there you go, Future Flyers of America. It doesn't work out like the proper program for that.
Well, as chair, I don't have any comment,
Oh, wait a second.
other than whoa. Other than related to business on the agenda, is any public comment? So going over all business, the joint comprehensive, I still haven't heard anything from the county, so that's just on hold. Chris, was there any decision or something about what we did last, the accessory apartment?
No, but it is, we understood that we need to address that as part of the saldo, but, so specific to that, no, because we're looking at, you know, the whole ordinance in general is looking to be modified, so we have the scout taking care of that. It's all part of a package, but we will get that done.
Okay.
Yep.
So for Mitchell property, believe all they're asking for is just another extension?
Right, an additional 90-day extension.
And
They came in
we,
in June meeting.
but we don't need to approve that, we're only acknowledging it according to.
Right, because they were the supervisors already approved it.
And then, do we just table the thing or?
We're gonna table the plan.
Okay, so we have a motion to table the Mitchell property discussion.
Absolutely, I second.
Okay, so that's table.
You still vote.
Huh?
Still vote.
I did,
Oh,
I thought I did.
okay. I'm sorry, I guess I just.
I thought I did.
No, that's fine. My bad.
Okay. Uh, So now the plans for the Ram Real Estate, which is the hangar.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Bob's here. We got his revisions, sent out a letter June 11th. Just some, mostly it's just some house cleaning items, sign the plan, bonding, as built, that's part of the bonding. Because the driveway's in zoning and in the saldo, he was approved through zoning, but saldo it still states that you have to have concrete or bituminous material, so Bob should ask for a modification of that to just use crushed stone. In the zoning ordinance, it says it has to be concrete unless the zoning officer and the engineer consult and agree something other, i.e. crushed stone. We talked, we're fine with them utilizing crushed stone because it says it in the saldo, just technically he has to ask for a waiver for that, and we wouldn't object if you recommend granting that waiver. And then stormwater wise, he just has to sign the worksheet and do the operation and maintenance agreement. So for the most part, it's really just house cleaning items. They cleaned up everything that was in our letters and the zoning officer's letters.
And I think all that stuff was in that roll plant here, there were some forms with it.
Right. Yeah, I got an email from Wendy. I guess you are bringing the plans to have them signed, which is fine, you can sign them, however, leave them on the table so when you get some, because the board still has to sign.
Right.
That's, again, if you choose to conditionally approve the plan at this meeting, which today is the last day, you have to make a decision either conditionally approve or deny.
And you are recommending,
I would recommend that you conditionally approve it based on meeting the obligations of KPI's June 11th, 2026 letter.
Do you wanna make that as a motion?
I read various letters, which, the date of that letter, I read that
June.
one. Yes, June 11th.
June 11th.
So assuming these ones are met, all of these things listed, and in the package, I think she only stopped, or was it only 6, or did she fail to print out the rest?
No, there's just 6.
6, okay.
So we'd be making a motion to
Yeah, I think we'll have.
condition on compliance.
Right, and that was on June 11th.
Right.
Yeah. I'm moving that we accept it with the, condition they meet the,
We recommend approval,
yeah, the
conditioned on.
condition on the KPI letter on June 11th.
I second. You made it, you
Yeah, motion.
motioned and I second to approve pending these conditions are met? Is that,
Yeah.
Are we in
Any more,
agreement there?
any more discussion?
Can I make one comment, Rich? I don't know if I can or not.
Yeah,
I just wanna make sure that, you know, in the zoning notes for hangar, that we are recognizing that on, White, hangars to be used solely for the purpose of aircraft storage, right? And that the owner understands that, you know, that if they try to take that vehicle off vertically, there's a whole other set of ordinance that we have brought to their attention many times before that they do not meet with regards to the ordinance. And so this, what you're passing is purely an ordinance that they can drive, park a helicopter there and use it for storage, but it is not allowed to vertically take off. And I think it's important that as the township, we recognize that because RAM is making a significant infrastructure investment into the facility, and we want to recognize that. But it is what you would be approving is only a storage facility, and it's in the notes off to the side. I want to make sure that I know how we read a lot of documents that everyone understands that footnote is there. I don't know if documents is that accurate?
Yeah, and actually,
You had that in your notes though, right?
no, because Bob, I had it in my original note, but Bob put a note on the plan. I'll read it. It says approval of this plan does not constitute approval for operations consistent with the heliport. So I think that,
Yeah, I just want to make sure that's clear.
yeah, it's a note on the plan.
Bob, you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
that doesn't change our motion, though.
No.
We don't, okay. Well, any more discussion?
No, I mean, I've read through all the letters and it seems straightforward, conditions were met.
Okay, all in favor again?
Aye.
So the Operation Second Chance, from reading that, the zoning officer had a lot of comments, I believe. Well, and yours too, but I got the idea that there's a lot of issues there that need to be resolved.
Yeah, I mean, we did not get county's comments yet, so I don't know what county has to say. We had our comments. I don't think any of our comments I would consider to be a showstopper for what they want to do. And I think Tex and the owners probably want to reach out to the zoning officer and try to work out a couple of these issues to see if they have to go to the zoning hearing board or not. I mean, they're here, they can present, talk about anything they'd like.
Yeah, if you don't mind, yeah, could take a few minutes. I'm Tex Miller, by the way. I'm with Mark and Martin out of Chambersburg. We're the design engineers. We prepared the plans for Operation Second Chance, both back in 2022 when they did their horse riding arena, and currently. Is everyone familiar with what Operation Second Chance does, their mission, sort of what the facility up there is all about?
I'd appreciate you going over it again.
Yeah, I don't think she was here before when we did the other stuff, so yeah.
Sure.
You
Cindy's the founder of Operation Second Chance. It was in 2005 that it was founded.
well, yeah, go ahead.
Originally. In 2020, they purchased the property up there on the mountain. It's 247 acres, which was privately owned before that, since 2006 roughly, and before that it was a church retreat camp and so
Yeah,
forth.
familiar with it, yes.
Existing facilities up there included 4 cabins that was used by the church property, some existing horse barns. There was horses up there, lots of 4-wheeler trails, so forth, a dining hall, a number of buildings that dated back to when the retreat had it. So that was the perfect opportunity for Cindy and her organization to purchase it because it would fit their needs for what their organization does. Maybe you can speak to that in just a moment.
Which is, we provide emergency financial assistance to wounded, injured, and ill combat veterans, and veterans that are wounded or ill. And we host retreats up there. We bring them and their families up there so they have a chance to relax and reconnect. Last weekend we had some special forces families that just came back. 4 of them just came back from a very serious deployment, which we don't hear about that in the news, that they're always very active that way. It was a great time for the families to reconnect and just like let their children relax and everything. What we do is we teach them how to rope. So if you've been to a rodeo, we teach them how to rope, and then we put them on a horse. And now they're roping in motion like the real deal of a rodeo. We have the swimming pool up there. We have a lot of trails for hiking. It's just a great place to reconnect. We have the purpose we want to build this gym. It's a bigger gym is what it is because we have a space right now with our gym equipment that's probably like from that door over to here, and it's not this big. That was already there. It's just stocked with gym equipment. So if we had something a little bit bigger, we could have our yoga classes there and Reiki and reflexology, which we host for them, so forth. And they could spread out and work out. Right now, the special forces guys last week, they got the free weights out of the gym and went down on our blacktop, and they were down there working out when they could have been in a air conditioned room, if you will. But I would love you to come up and see the property. It's a blessing to have the property. It's a blessing to share it with the veterans who have sacrificed so much for our country. It's just a wonderful place for them to come and heal and connect. And we're taking a holistic approach to healing to get rid of all the medications that they're on. When they come up there, they can, we call nature bathing, which is just going out walking in the nature on the trails. We have a lot of wildlife up there, and it's always exciting when you see, a fawn with her mom, or whatever, whatever. We have archery tag and things like that, so it's a great place for them to just run around and the kids, they don't worry about their kids. We have a gate that you come in, so it's one way in and one way out, so it's a very safe and secure feeling. And of course, where we're situated, so I always tell them when they're there, that they're either in the safest place you can be or we're ground zero, but I guess we'd be ground one because DC would be ground zero. I also tell them that in the book of Matthew in the Bible, it says to build your house upon a rock, and we built our retreat center upon a mountain. And I tell them when they're there to just forget about their problems while they're there and leave them behind when they leave there. So again, it's a wonderful place. There's 4 cabins. There's a recreation center. All these buildings were there. This little gym was there. We just want to have like a bigger room like this so we could spread out and not be like next to each other when they're doing yoga and stuff like that. So, but I'd love for you to come up and see it. You did approve for us to do the indoor riding arena, and it's a fabulous building. I'm so grateful for that. We had to put a block wall in there per code, and so I had this beautiful mural painted on the wall. We have a Gettysburg mural painted over here, and then our view of what we see out this way on this side of the wall. It's just, again, a beautiful place. I'd love to have you come up and take a look. And if any of you are veterans, I appreciate your service and thank you.
I was there when it was a Lutheran camp.
Yeah, were you? When you were little? You
No.
were camp? Oh.
No, as an adult.
Oh,
Yeah, we used to walk through it when it's the Lutheran camp because I live right on the right down on the Carroll Valley side.
okay, yeah. So we see down to Carroll Valley.
And then yes, you can walk in the back way, probably still.
Well, I've had hunters I have a lot of trail cameras out there, and I've caught hunters up there walking on that back trail. I have to go back there and, we've been hunting here our whole life. I'm like, well, you can't hunt here anymore. Because, if I have an injured veteran out there and I've told them, you're not going to see anybody on these trails, and they come into somebody in their camo gear carrying a rifle or whatever,
That's
it's not very good. Yeah, but we don't allow hunting out there.
I'd be happy to just come up and real quickly explain what they're planning on doing and how it relates to previous, so, as you can see, this is the 247 acre property, borders the Maryland line. They get access through an easement down here onto Harbaugh Valley Road. Now, so 2 years ago, and I have this mercy printed here, but basically in this area here is where the riding arena was built, following that approval. So here you can see a little bit. This is where the riding arena was. Now, they have a dining hall here, they have a pool here, and the house, which is where Cindy stays some, and then other caretakers and so forth. The 4 cabins that they have up there for the visitors, for the veterans coming up, are up here for them and their families. And then they have a leisure center she mentioned, and this is the existing gym down here. So basically, the way the property is designed, they make their way around either walking or on 4-wheelers, all those things. So maybe, a few steps involved. This is the proposed, augmented gym facility, which would allow them to move that existing equipment into this facility down there. They're not proposing any sewer or water, basically just electricity and what they need for that. Now,
So they don't have showers there?
no, because they have them in the cabins themselves. So, when they have these retreats and so forth, it's sort of an all-encompassing experience, whether they're doing some painting or whatever in the dining hall area, with easels and all that, or they're trying to do some Reiki therapy outside and all that. So from our standpoint, and I wanted to just mention that I'm slightly ill-prepared for this meeting. We submitted this in May to the township, the plans themselves. We received comments from Adams County from Robert Thaler May 15th. Now, we were holding off to respond to those because we wanted to wait to get KPI and zoning officer comments. So we waited. Now, we received those comments yesterday. So we were slightly unprepared. But one thing we wanted to get clarification and the board's feeling on it, and I know you sort of brought this up, Dominic. The comments in the zoning officer's letter seem to point to a non-existing use. We're a little unclear why that would be happening, and we need more time and to understand why that's the case. They did receive zoning hearing board approval back in 2022. And in that approval, the existing gym, the cabins, the sort of overall use for that was cited in that approval that the zoning hearing board gave, which was for the riding arena, the indoor riding arena. So when we got these comments yesterday, sort of threw us back as to where do we stand in the process there. The other thing I will say is that initially when we filled out the land use permit zoning application in February and sent it over, we did receive an approval back from Mr. Bennett stating that there was no special exception. It was basically in line with the zoning ordinance. So we're just looking for a little direction here, like what is being required of us here at this point in the game, because we were operating on the assumption that that's why we submitted the land development plan, because we went through those things to make sure that there wasn't going to be a problem or have to go before the zoning hearing board.
Do you know the issue, Dominic?
I'm sorry.
Do you know the issue he's referring to?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
yes, I do.
Okay. Basically, what they're stating is Operation Second Chance as a whole. The whole, I hate saying the operation because that's the name of it. But the whole business or nonprofit, was never technically permitted. It just started running. They did a zoning hearing board a couple of years ago for the stables, for the riding arena, I mean, and it was never, I guess, permitted to run this nonprofit there that's a health and wellness center, okay? So that's what county brought up, and that's what the zoning officers bring up. Now, what sort of came as news to me today, and as I was looking at it, at this, is here is the zoning land use permit application that he did submit that says we want to construct a 45 by 60 health and wellness gym facility, et cetera, et cetera. Cindy McGrew put it in on 1/21/26, or at least that's when she signed it. And Bill on 2/10/26 says, and this is a standard form, he's checking the boxes. This proposal does comply with zoning ordinance. This proposal does require new water and sewer, which I'm not sure it does. And then I thought it said somewhere else. Maybe I'm missing a paper. But basically, they don't need any waivers or modifications. Variance is required, no. A special exception is required, no. A permit for the above described project / use was granted on February 10/26. The permit expires February 10/27. There's no conditions on this. So I can understand their plight, but I'm not the zoning officer, as I told you over the phone.
Sure.
I highly recommend you talk to Bill and Brittany. She's also in the office. She's usually hands-on with a lot of this stuff, and get the zoning use situation clarified. But yeah, I'm not the zoning officer. I don't supersede the zoning officer when it comes to zoning ordinance. What I do see is you did submit this, and it does say it's approved. I do see his comments where it says you have to do potentially a non-conforming registration. If you have to register as non-conforming, it's really not that hard. He'll help you with it. It's usually just a piece of paper that says we established in whatever year, blah, blah, blah.
So,
You know.
to clarify and understand, you're saying to establish them, because we understand, you know, it's trying to sort of fit a square peg in a round hole here. They had an existing gym. It was even there, even the equipment when they bought the property. It was on all the, you know, so it's not, they're just doing a separate building for the same thing that they're already doing.
I don't think that's the issue. I think what it is that when they got the document, the first one was done as a stable in their mind, okay? And now you've already applied saying, hey, we want to build a wellness center, but they're looking at, correct me if I'm wrong, that was a stable. And so what we need to get them to do is, sorry for the additional step, and welcome to government. We just need to go back to them and say, no, we already have this in place, and we're just riding into it because Bill sees that there's a bit of a disconnect. The township is supportive of your efforts and what you're trying to do. Welcome to government. And so we just need to help you through the process. And as Dominic just told you, is it Brittany?
Brittany.
Call Brittany, and then any issues between Wendy and them as a town supervisor, let us know. We'll help you get it addressed.
So just to clarify, that non-conforming use, that made an existing non-conforming use, that may be able to be done through some paperwork without actually appealing or having to go before the zoning hearing board again, because that's expensive and.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to avoid for you.
It's
Okay.
right. When you register, I mean, there's regulations in the zoning ordinance.
Sure.
When you register a property as non-conforming, and more for your client, anybody else, please realize, not when you register a property for non-conforming, what you're doing as the property owner is protecting your rights. You're saying, this I had established before this zoning ordinance came about, or a section of zoning ordinance came about, and I want to protect my rights. And it's legal, and that's why it's in every ordinance. You're allowed to do it, and the courts have sided with the property owner saying, if you start this before zoning or before a change in zoning, it protects your rights to continue to do this. Whereas I know Tex knows that, maybe some of you do not. Just, give me a brief description of what it is. So there's usually, as everything, there's typically a fee, but it's usually a small fee. I don't know what your fee is for non-conforming, probably in the realm of $100, maybe give or take a couple bucks from that. And it's just anything that you currently have that does not conform to the zoning ordinance, you want to register. So this way you can constantly, continually do that. And then every time you come in here to put up a shed, we're not saying go back to the zoning hearing board. We don't want you to do that. We don't want anybody to do that. It's just, that's not good for anybody. So it's trying to protect your rights, you register everything. With the zoning officer will help you, go over things, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. They can't tell you exactly what to do, but they can guide you, as it says to do in the ordinance. It actually says they should help you with it. And it's just filling out some paperwork. It might just be you writing a document on your own computer, printing it out and handing it to them. We're not trying to make this hard. We're just trying to help you protect yourself. That's all we're trying to do.
Okay.
I would have thought this would have been handled 2 years ago at the zoning hearing board at that time. I read the decision from a couple of years ago. I'm not an attorney. Doesn't look like they mentioned anything about the use, but that's something you and your consultant can
I think I
review.
remember them saying private club is how
And-
they were able to get the agreement.
And again, it's been for lack of a better term, a retreat property back to the Lutheran, which is way before me. I only remember you up there. So
No, 70, I
it's,
guess 70.
right, it's been there for, a
Forever,
retreat
yeah.
type of property.
Mhm.
It's been there for way before zoning. It's been there 50 years. That property's been utilized. It's just the name has changed and the clientele has changed. So I think you would be able to make a case that this has been ongoing since the 70s.
Okay. And I know they probably had 100 kids to 125 kids every week. The most we have is 22 people.
Right. I mean, I personally look at it. It's a retreat property, and just because the clientele has changed, the property is still being used as a retreat. You want to call it a health and wellness, it's fine. It's still retreat for the veterans that you're helping and your families to come out there. I think that's the broad word, retreat. That might be the word you want to use.
Sure. Yeah, that's just some nomenclature sort of designating what that building just as the existing gym, I suppose.
So, for clarification, the Health and Wellness Center is the gym.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
non-conforming is the overall property.
It's the overall use of the property.
Right. It's not that building specific, it's the.
Right, because that building specifically would be an accessory to the overall use.
Right.
That's the way at least I view it, but again, I'm not the zoning officer. I know it sounds like I keep
You could be,
side swapping.
you could be one if you want.
I am one, but I'm not in this township. Okay. Yeah, I just don't do it in this township. And I don't want to step on the zoning officer's toes. I've talked to them. They're very nice people. They'll talk to you. They'll help you out.
So I think at this point, I brought a letter requesting an extension on this then until October 8th. Since obviously there's 30 or 40 comments we got to work through, and obviously this is going to be the first priority, making sure we get the T's crossed and our I's dotted on that.
That should.
So
This
that
should
goes to
stay.
Wendy, right?
Right, but you should make a recommendation to the board to accept that. Because of just the way the calendar falls this year, we have 90 days. Their 90 days run out the day before the August supervisors meeting. So what that means is they can't do it in August without holding a special meeting. They have to make a decision in July, which means you have to make a decision now, even though it's the first time we've talked about it. So I talked to Tex. That waiver goes, I think, till the day after the October, that extension, I mean, goes to the day after the October Board of Supervisors meeting. So,
So, you know, we can't approve until they approve.
I make a motion to recommend, accepting this request,
90-day waiver.
till
So
October.
we're recommending the supervisors approve this
yeah.
as opposed to.
Do they need a couple more days? Is that what you're saying though? Aren't you saying that?
Well, they will ultimately,
Yeah.
but the problem is they should technically be making a decision to make all the timelines without having a special meeting for the supervisors,
Got it.
which I know they try not to do.
That makes sense.
And Tex understands, and he's willing to, I mean, obviously, put it in.
We're hopeful that we can address these things rapidly and work through them, but, you know.
So it's roughly like 62, 63 days or something is the actual extension, but he asked, and me and him talked, asked for the date after the October supervisors meeting.
So I made a motion, does anybody?
So you made a motion
Second.
to
To,
recommend approval of extension to the supervisors.
yes,
And you want a second? All in favor?
aye.
And this goes to Wendy.
Yeah, so I just leave that on the table so she doesn't. Now, I assume you're gonna want to table the plan, and ask any questions, or if you have anything else you just wanna ask. Yeah.
I guess my other question, and it's sort of related to the zoning as well, as far as we sort of came into this operating under the way that the previous plan was done, and that's part of how we can not bill Operation Second Chance too much. We priced it upon that and so forth. Previously, when that, the zoning hearing board and all that we did for the riding arena, there was no, what's the word for it, the conservation plat requirement. That was one comment that was on this, which in my view, again, I'm not familiar with that because we didn't have to do it for the last building that they did. That's gonna be a bit of a task and a lot of time and money, and we're trying to avoid that, especially because it's related to the zoning section of the ordinance.
I forget who the zoning officer was at that time.
Andrew Miller.
Yeah, Andrew Miller.
Okay. So, what Andrew chose to do on this one, his interpretation was, we have 250 acres, 47, whatever it is, 200, you know, and they have a little block in the middle where all their construction's taking place, or development, however you want to put it, and it sort of all stays in that block. And what Andrew did was say, basically, as long as it stays in here, everything else is in the conservation. And that's why they didn't go through all the ins and outs of every single thing in the conservation by design techniques. Bill is saying you have to do the conservation by design techniques, which I understand. It was a comment on mine. Again, I think it's something when you're talking with Bill and Brittany about the non-conforming and stuff, you want to bring it up and see what he will accept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately for you, you're probably about a year early, and I say that very conservatively.
That's fine. I would have mentioned it.
The township is currently revising their ordinance, but in the very infantile stages of eliminating conservation by design in technique in the ordinance itself. You wouldn't have to do it, but you're just a little early.
Should we wait till next year?
No, you won't have to. We can also just do it as a waiver for you. It's just
the waiver would have to come through zoning hearing.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So I think it's important that you talk to the zoning officer and that may also be something that you could register as non-conforming, that you conserved area in the past, and maybe you don't have to do it full-fledged now.
Because I think the way they've got it set up is, they call it the compound area, that one area is roughly
Right.
19 or 20 acres, and the other 227 acres is it's all woods and, yeah.
And again, I think that's how Andrew viewed it. I just don't remember from 2 years ago what his plan set said. Yeah, not plan set, what his comment letter said.
So from the zoning standpoint, if we have that conversation with them, then that, because the one section in the subdivision references that may be something then that if they can
The
provide
section
that.
in the SALDA says you have to do like the conservation stuff and all. I'm sure if you work through the zoning, then that becomes non-applicable, in my
Okay.
opinion. At worst case scenario, you get a waiver from the SALDA, from the Board of Supervisors. Okay, but if the zoning goes away or is already adequate, maybe I should put it that way, if it's already adequate, then in my opinion, the SALDO, that section of SALDO would be non-applicable because you're not doing anything new.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.
Okay.
So now we just move.
Now you can take it away.
So I move that we table, land development plan for Operation Second Chance. Move a second.
I'll second that, yes, it sounds like a
All in favor?
good move, aye.
So hereby table.
All right. Thank you.
Just be aware, Tex, the township has done, they're changing the way they're doing things, so all copies, including the copies for the zoning officer and all, come to my office now.
Okay.
You don't have to take anything to Wendy or this township. I'll collect it all, and I also require a digital copy.
Gotcha.
You can email me about how many copies. I think I only need like 3 or 4
Okay.
hard copies.
Sure.
We're trying to cut down on that.
Yes.
Digitize a lot of it, and then I can get copies to the zoning officer and to Wendy. For
Yeah, I made that mistake that with the riding stable, that in the ordinance, I think it said 13 copies, and I
Yeah.
delivered them, and then Wendy told me,
Yeah, you killed
Yeah, no,
one too many trees on that. But yeah, we're changing the way who's
Sure.
collecting these plans. And if you get them to me,
okay,
then you don't have to worry about getting them to Wendy. I'll get them to zoning officer and everybody.
okay, yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, do you have I'd love to come up and visit sometime, but is there, you have a card?
I do. There you go.
I live right down the other side of the hill. Thank you so much.
Yep,
Cindy.
you'll love it. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know who you are, so it's just,
I'm the president of the Mid-Atlantic Soaring Association
Okay.
down the road here,
okay.
Under what?
of the Mid-Atlantic Soaring Association. We own and operate the airport down the road. So we were mostly interested in the previous agenda item. And I'm sticking around, just curious to see how you guys operate.
Okay. So has he got squared away with how he's gonna get a helicopter and?
We don't understand that. No, we don't understand what their intentions are.
I need Chris to explain a little bit of what this,
Oh, okay.
these
So,
ordinances
no,
are.
I can tell you. Okay, so they want to get rid of, overall, they want to get rid of the conservation by design technique.
That's what
which is-
I understand.
Which is in the conservation and the agricultural zones. In the meantime, they want to put, for the most part, a Band-Aid over a broken leg. What they want to do is eliminate anybody right now who has 10 acres or less, and then they don't have to follow any conservation by design. because it's holding up one plan in particular, but other people have come and expressed interest, and they can't do anything because of these conservation by design techniques. So
This arose off the Mitchell plan.
he's one of the plans, but
Okay.
there are other people that have called.
Okay.
We're not doing this just for,
Right.
you know. So what they want to do is these smaller lots, put a Band-Aid over it real quick, make this change that takes away the conservation by design techniques in the ag and the conservation zones, but only for properties of 10 acres and less right now. Then in the next, we're hoping to fast track it in the next 2-3 months, we'll have the ordinance rewritten, or, you know, for those 2 zones, and take away the conservation by design techniques for everybody. It's just taking a little bit longer to anticipate it, and they wanna get rid of these, allow the people with small lots to do what they want. So that was the one change where.
So have you read that one and you feel like it's wrong?
I wrote it.
Okay, you wrote it.
I wrote it, and then the attorney beefed it up. He wanted to actually add the sections, you know, the actual section numbers to it and all. So yeah, I feel it will, because what it's gonna do is drop your densities to 1.1 unit for every 1.5 acres. And it's a very small thing. It's only a sentence. So it'll drop your densities to 1 unit for every 1.5 acres. And then it basically just says, for all your dimensional requirements, setbacks, etc., things like that, you just utilize what is currently in your ordinance as development option 2. As they look to change that whole entire ordinance section, we're probably going to end up using the development standards and the dimensional standards and the density standards of option 2. And that's why we're just saying, do it as option 2. We're going to rewrite it. We have a long road ahead of us, you know. So that's what that changes. It's just a one sentence to say, if you have 10 acres or less, you don't have to figure out how much steep slopes you have and all this stuff. Like, you just very simplistic setbacks, etc. If you had the soil testing, you know, means the soil, the sewage and water and all, we'll let you subdivide or develop if need be, if you choose.
So do you think this will lead to more building? I mean, I see the point. I see the point of simplifying. I see all of that. But 10 acres actually is quite a bit of land, and a lot of people have moved to these areas because they're very rural. And I'm not really criticising it, but I'm just raising in my mind 10 acres is quite a bit of land.
It is. We're not, the spirit of this change isn't changing, is still adequate with what's in the zoning ordinance. So your density standard is still the same.
Thank you for clarifying. I
yeah.
see the point. I'm not criticising.
No,
I see
no,
the
no,
point
I
of
understand.
simplifying.
So for example, if you had a 100-acre farm, you're allowed 1.5, that puts you at what? You're allowed 75 units per that 100-acre farm. If you have a 10-acre farm or a 10-acre piece of land, that gives you 7.5 units. The difference is when you start adding in steep slopes, wetlands, right-of-ways, etc., that person with the 10-acre, or if they have less, like 5 acres or 4 acres, they can't do anything.
Well, like the Mitchells, yes.
Right, like them. Well, it's not just them.
Well,
There's
they're
a bunch of
an
properties
example,
out there.
yes.
They can't do anything, and we've had people come in here many a time saying, "Oh, I want to do this." Well, it doesn't meet the zoning,
Got it.
and so they can't even subdivide it in half to give it to their child, or they can't subdivide off an acre. They don't have the land, even though most of the municipalities around us would allow that subdivision to occur.
You've explained. I just wanted to clarify in my mind that. Thank you.
So that was the one
Sorry.
change. Oh, I'm sorry.
As far as that one goes, I mean, Well, when you put in the agenda, it's review and comment. Do we need to actually?
You should make a recommendation to the supervisors how you feel, because they're going to be holding a public hearing and everything to pass this. Or not pass, or whatever you decide to vote on. But they are setting up the public hearing if you haven't done it already.
Yeah, I don't know the date.
Right. They're going to be setting up the public hearing all to amend the zoning ordinance. So what occurs is.
I mean, I read that one, and it's, I don't know if you've read it. Do you have any comments on it, or anything you need to forward?
No, just that about the 10 acres, just that what you're talking about.
It's
that
less
one
than
page,
that.
right.
The,
Yeah.
the amendment of chapter 350
Right.
for removing the conservation by design techniques in the ag and the conservation zone.
I mean, that one I understand, that was pretty
Okay.
clear to me, so
Okay.
I don't really have any added comments.
Okay.
Do we have to move for the supervisors to accept it before
Well,
the meeting?
You make a recommendation that they either adopt it or they adopt it with a change, or you recommend they own it, whatever you want to recommend to them.
Before they even have the public hearing?
Yeah.
I think that's why we don't have a date, is we probably want something from you guys to give to us, to be like, okay, we got something on the table for you to discuss. If you
Right.
came back with a bunch of changes, and like, oh, hey, we need to do all these things,
Yeah.
then let's make those changes.
And it's out to
Right,
county
right,
as
right.
well, because county has to review it, and it's always, most of the solicitors and I would recommend you get your comment from the planning commission and the county before you hold your public meeting, so you know everything that's going on. And it is a requirement that you discuss this and make a recommendation at a public meeting. So that's why it has to come to you as well.
Somebody in the mood to make a motion?
Oh, well,
I move
yes.
that we recommend for approval, amendment to chapter 350.
I second.
All in favor? Yeah. Now, the one that I find more confusing is
The data centers.
Yes, oh my God, I read that through, holy cow.
As you know, data centers are becoming a big thing in the state of Pennsylvania. You don't have anything in your ordinance.
Did you assemble this one, or?
No, what I did was I got that from county, who copied what Strabane Township came up with about a year ago, maybe not even. And so county took what Strabane Township had, they made some changes to it, and they are giving it to more or less any municipality in Adams County that asks for it. This is the one that they're recommending you adopt. Okay? It's probably not the most perfect ordinance in the world, because none are. You know, things keep changing. It seems like, especially with data centers, there's always court findings coming out, so it's gonna keep revolving. You know, you might have to come back in 6 months and make another change to it based on court cases. What I will say is you don't have anything, and that means you're leaving yourself open to them having full range of almost what they want to do in Liberty Township. So again, while they're putting a Band-Aid on the conservation by design technique while we work through it, I think this is a better Band-Aid. This is a much better Band-Aid. This comes from the county. It's being used throughout Adams County. I've seen, I think, 3 or 4 municipalities I work with adopt that ordinance as theirs. It's covering all your major things, like you have to do water studies, noise studies, light studies, etc.
Provide their own energy supply, yes.
Right, all that stuff.
If they're not
So-
allowed to hook to the grid, can they operate? Can they generate enough power?
I don't build these things.
Not our
That
problem.
is on them to do that.
I mean, that's one thing, saying they have to provide their own power on site.
They have backup generators, the whole thing. They got full on. If you go down to Northern Virginia, you see a data center, they'll have their own standalone, that internet is not going down.
But how noisy is that?
It's
That's
super-
little noise things, I mean, yeah.
Well, it
But
depends on your-
but we don't have any standards for how to build a power plant in the township.
These are just a bunch of cat diesels running.
Yeah, but what are the regulations, what is the ordinance regarding a power station? We don't have anything there. So you're asking them to build something that we have no ordinance to govern how they do that.
I think we recognize that we aren't perfect, right, Dominic? But we don't have anything today, so
I
somebody can step in and buy
understand.
that Warmall property, and we don't have any protection to that.
I understand that. I'm just saying, this is a good draft, but if there's a big commitment to keep working on it.
Yeah, I'm no
that's-
expert on any of
Keep
this.
them
I
out.
just take your recommendation.
No.
If they really want to be here, no, nothing's going to keep them out.
They
I mean-
they can generate enough electric to maintain.
Again, I don't build these things. I don't
Well,
know.
They can.
They
I'm
can.
sure they
The
could.
military ones are, the ones that I worked on, it's a whole standalone, and not this size and scale, but the big ones.
They can cool off recirculated water,
Yeah.
and,
Well, they're gonna dump the warm water, depending on their system, they're just gonna dump, they'll cycle the water, but the water, that's one of the problems, is that they have to, it's like a sewage plant, you have to release the water somewhere. So, there's a lot of.
Well, most of
But I'm no
the,
expert.
from my understanding, the water use is they use evaporative cooling towers.
Yeah, that's.
So they're evaporating the water. And what this thing says is you got this closed loop system that can go to a cooling tower. But you don't say it can't be an evaporative cooling tower, which means they can blow all the water out.
Yeah.
So the whole idea that we're not having water consumption is not covered in here. Because they can use evaporative cooling
Yeah.
in the tower. That's one of the things I look at right away. That,
The water usage.
yeah, there's still potential for big water usage in there
It's
because
huge.
the way this thing's written about a closed loop system doesn't prevent them from putting in evaporative
Well,
cooling.
that's what we need to do, we need to add all those things in now, and just remember your opportunity cost.
Yeah, but it's a good first draft, and we have to have something.
Yeah, that's something to start with.
So my question really is, and we just got this like Friday, so I haven't had really a chance to look at it. So what is the timeline for this compared to the, as far as the
Well,
conservation by design?
I think you were outside. They approved the conservation by design technique
Mhm.
amendment.
That
Or
one,
Yeah.
recommended
that one we're
approval.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we sort of separate. Now it's just the data center. I guess that's they're asking. Like, do they need to make a decision now, or are you willing to
Yeah, I think
separate?
why don't you take a serious look at it, make a recommendation, I don't think we're looking at a 911, we just make it a priority, right? And the number of things, just to protect the township from somebody coming in.
Oh, I totally agree with getting something in place to cover that.
Yeah.
And then there's some things in here, like the lighting and stuff like that, to me, those should be general standards for any kind of industrial facility that's put in here. And I'm not aware, but if we said a data center has to have all this stuff, but you can put in a manufacturing facility or something else, and that's not required,
Yeah, that would work.
then I think the court would throw it out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way, there's a lot of holes in here. that
Put them
need-
all down. Well, it sounds like you got some weekend time there, just, build yourself overtime.
Noise pollution is a big concern with them, just
Well,
noise.
and some of it,
And vibration, I mean,
But-
we hear horror stories where these things have gone in.
yeah, but there's things like I said with the cooling, the goal that we want is no evaporative cooling. It doesn't say that, it gives a technical solution that might do that. And to me, the ordinance should be more stated what the objective is, not defining what technology they have to use to get there.
Well, I would agree, it's your job to get that figured out. Be interested, to your point, there is a positive side to data centers. I mean, so, everyone jumps to the negative side of, oh, it's gonna change the way. But I was with some friends this week that live down in Northern Virginia, and they're like, our power's cheaper, you know, our taxes are cheaper, there are benefits to this, but, you know, the reality is we as a community need to figure out which way do we wanna go.
It's a question of where and what is an appropriate place, and I
Exactly.
look around the township and think, well,
Yeah.
where would be an appropriate place?
Well, that's basically already established. I believe they're putting it in the
Yes.
industrial zone,
Which really limits it.
which is
Very small,
that.
yeah.
And again, and I'm not saying rush this. What I'm saying is it's proposed to be in the industrial zone. That's a small area of your overall township.
So there is a proposal for one, is that what
Well,
you're
that's
saying?
what this ordinance
This is an
Well,
ordinance,
I
that nobody's
understand that, but you
proposing.
started saying we
Right.
need a proposal.
But if this doesn't get approved, and let's just say a person walks in with a data center now, they can do anywhere in the township they want.
No, I understand that. I'm
Okay.
all about having this as a first draft, and yes.
And we don't want somebody to take one of the ASAs and suddenly now you're at the top of Liberty and you're looking out at a data center. That can happen today.
Yes, no, I know there is a certain time issue, I would think, because
I mean, as far as I know, no one has
There's
come
no
knocking at
permits,
the
no
door.
one's, we don't have anybody knocking on
But
the
you
door.
just never know when they do. And we want to be, we rather
Better
be proactive than reactive.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
and
just
we
tougher
had that on
situation.
the list of things that
Sure,
we
we
need
did,
to
we
look
did.
at.
We
So, I'm totally on board with the fact we need to do it, I just, I'm somewhat surprised the county said, hey, this is a good model, because I don't see that it's a good model.
Well, again, that was about a year ago when no one had anything. And then, like I said, it seems like, maybe I'm just exaggerating, but it seems like once every 2-3 weeks a new court filing, you know, comes out, oh, they can't do this, or they can do this, they can't do this, they, you know.
The good thing about that, there's lots of test law to check against, so you can write a good
Yeah.
document, right? So I mean, to your point, Rich, this was written a year ago. Let's go get some additional what people learn in court that would hold up to law. Like, I mean, I don't know about those cooling systems, evaporation versus closed loop systems. You know, those are good.
Well, the thing is, like a cooling tower, an evaporative one, they'll run heated fluid in there and it boils off water. And you get a lot of energy exchange when you change water from liquid to a gaseous state. The other ones, you just flow air through them and the heat exchanges directly to the air. They're less efficient, but you don't use water. And the way this thing's written, it doesn't clarify really what they're talking about, because the end use that said cooling tower just moves water. And there's some other things, like if they do plantings around there, I'd rather specify they use native plants.
Agreed.
And like I said, the lighting standard, that should be almost a separate thing that any facility should be required to do.
Yeah, I think, I'm gonna say your ordinance probably says if there's parking at night, you have to have the parking lot lit.
Well, yeah,
That's-
but saying what kind of light, and
Yeah, we're talking more the ambient light and the constant and all. And they'll have to do a lighting plan that says all the light.
I'd rather say amber light, so it protects the insects and walls.
You taking all these down, write those down as notes? You got all the action items right now, my friend. As far as I can see.
I'll take more time to look at it, and I can send the whole group comments. And individually, I think each of us, if you just look at it, if you have comments, just send them out to the group. I don't think we have to necessarily sit together and vote on a set of comments. I think individually, we can make comments, and that would make it go quicker.
And how's that work? Who just for the operational standpoint, who correlates all those comments and then researches them in the doc? Is that your job, Dominic, or is there?
Yeah,
Am I paid by the hour for that?
it's either gonna be my job, Wendy's, or John's job.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll need to figure that one out, because that big document like this could get really expensive fast, and if everyone's free flowing comments in, and oh, well, that sounds like a nice idea, let's put it in there. So we, as a family, the township, we probably got to keep our comments alone. Not that I don't love you, brother.
No,
I just want to make sure that we're not, shifting cash out here on the side.
No, I think
I
if
was
it-
not-
I think if it's strictly just changing a document, that's Wendy's job.
Well,
But
let's-
where you're, it's
so
more
remember,
clerical.
just to be clear, that is not Wendy's job. Wendy's job is our secretary and our treasurer. Her job is to make sure that our financials are done, and she is not the town officer. She documents from the secretary's standpoint. She documents them. But what I'm sensitive to Wendy's time is that a lot of times in the past people just dump stuff on her. And it's not her responsibility.
I'm talking it from a clerical point
Okay,
of
from
view.
clerical.
From a clerical point of view, she's the one that would put the stuff in the document. Now, we have to give her,
The
this is
finished
the
document.
this is
Yeah.
the language that needs to go
I
on.
just don't want to put on, I'm protecting my house. Protecting my house. I don't want Wendy thinking she's got to correlate, 'cause, we were working on a proposal, everyone's putting their comments in. I don't want Wendy doing that. One of us would need to step up to the plate and say, I'm going to own getting that, and then Wendy takes the finished document. I just want to make sure that's.
Well, if I go back to the accessory apartment thing, that was one where we had comments, and Wendy was the one that had it into the document.
Alright.
She didn't make up the comments, but
If she's comfortable with it, you get her permission, then I'll.
she
support
told
it.
me she had to do it, because paying her is a lot cheaper than paying.
Well, that's my first point. But I just want to make sure I don't have to listen to Wendy being like, you guys just do all this 2 hours or 2 days worth of work on it. And Bobby knows. She gets overwhelmed, it's, so anyway,
I'm just saying that,
I'm with you.
that
Well, I have not been authorized by the township to work on data centers. I mean, except for coming to the meeting
No.
and answering questions or something.
Yeah.
The town, so I'm not, I mean, they would
no,
have to
I'm just saying that
authorize
they
me
would
to
want
do
you
it.
to do it. You would be giving technical input versus
Right.
doing the clerical work.
Hey, take care. Good luck, guys.
Thanks.
I trust you'll figure this one out.
You don't want to hang out for the sausage being made?
Good night.
Take care.
I think the comments are going to be actually, although they're very pertinent, and you have some clear comments. I mean, I'm not worried that there's going to be lots and lots of extra stuff. I think that it's.
And I would say, if any of you, all of you, emailed Wendy, she could probably give you the Word format of that document. And then if you wanted to put changes into it, highlight them, do something so people can see if you bring it and say, yeah, and then it's like.
Look at
okay,
you
let's
in
cross.
2008, man. Look at that. Comments, huh? It's gonna throw.
But the thing I had envisioned possibly is that if everybody reviews these, to have a joint meeting between planning and the supervisors, to then just review the comments and agree, we're gonna do this, we're not gonna do that. And then you've got the whole list there, and then Wendy can put it in there, or whoever.
At some point, we have to pay an attorney or somebody to review it, right? Yeah, so I prefer that.
But that might be more efficient to do it that way.
Just trying to avoid paying money that we haven't budgeted for.
I mean, Adams County has to review it,
Yeah,
so that's basically a free review.
yeah.
Your attorney definitely has to review it.
We can let Rob take a look at it before we give it to the attorney, all
And
right?
that's fine. Again, I've worked on these enough, I've seen them and all. I'm not, I have no offense if you keep me on to the sidelines, that's fine.
If you prefer that for right now. Yeah,
But
Does this cover, and I'm really ignorant here, Bitcoin mining? Is that something that also takes a lot of energy? Is that a possible?
this would fall in,
That would fall in.
Bitcoin mining would fall into
Would
these.
fall in that
data
category.
centers.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a data center.
That would still be a data center.
Yeah.
Okay.
think ChatGPT.
yeah.
That's what you're paying for.
There you go, I mean, it's AI. It's
Yeah, just checking,
ultimately
I'm
it's
just-
AI.
Just checking.
Okay. So you want to table the data center discussion?
For further review. And
Yeah, I would say, I'll make a motion to table it and have individual members, review it and provide comments to whoever wants to listen. I guess provide comments back to the planning, and we'll share them.
So it's on email, is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
By, can we put a date on it? I'm sorry, I don't know if that's okay. By the end of June or something, that we could, or I guess that's next week, July.
Yeah.
July.
Well, they won't meet again until July Planning Commission, which would be
I forget what the date is.
July July 21st.
So we have review comments by that, and then you guys can discuss it, and then we can bring something to the board to review. Is that something path?
That is doable.
If that's a reasonable date.
So I just like timelines so that things don't get
It's
kicked
up
down
to
the
you.
road.
Yep.
Too often in government, things get kicked down the road. I'm guilty of
Yeah.
the apartment one for that.
So what did I say as motion?
Oh crap, I'm sorry, reading my, when I get home I can read my writing. Basically, you table that for further, as individual members to review and provide comments by July the 23rd.
That's a July planning.
The planning commission meeting.
Just in case the 21st is wrong.
That's a third Tuesday.
Will you make a motion for that? Does somebody make a motion? Shall I make a motion?
Go
Or you
ahead.
just made a motion?
I made that motion,
You
so I
made the
just need a
motion.
second.
I'll second. Move things along.
All in favor?
Aye.
And if you want to share your comments with the other members of the, beforehand, that's fine. In other words, if you come up with comments, you don't need to hold on to them until the meeting.
Well, and hopefully I'll get the minutes out fairly soon, and if they haven't been at the meeting, they'll read and know that they're
Yeah.
supposed to have,
Just
know
remember,
that
you
we
can,
discussed
you can send an email, just do not talk about it or make any decisions via email.
No, we're not making
No, no, I
decisions.
know.
I'm
I just,
sharing
just
information.
clarifying, that's all.
No, just we're at this point fishing for ideas and,
Right.
And thinking and reviewing.
So does anybody want to adjourn the meeting?
We're just gonna review everything again and
Ju-
see
ju-
if,
The subordinates.
I guess it
Just-
wasn't
I've read all
paper,
of
so
Yeah.
they insert in the
So
paper.
when we get to the other thing, it actually has to be clarified.
I did not know you did
I
that.
think that about closed circuit. I was thinking that,
Is
but
the
you
meeting
made a
been
good point
adjourned?
about the evaporation.
Oh, I think,
I was thinking of closed
Officially
system,
adjourn the meeting?
because that wouldn't really be a closed
Yes.
system, because it would have to.
Well,
It would
but
have
the
to
loop
work.
from,
Yes, that's
loop
what
from the
I'm
equipment to the cooling tower is closed. But it says it makes the heat to the cooling tower, but it doesn't say anything about the cooling tower.
And evaporation would have to go
It would
over.
be even allowable.
That's why you.
Are you
That
officially,
wouldn't be considered a closed system.
officially adjourning the meeting at this
So
time?
I need a motion to adjourn.
I certainly make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
To adjourn,
All in favor?
Aye.
well, it's good seeing everybody. We'll see you.
It was good seeing you in Gettysburg the other day.
Yeah.
When we get coffee.
Almost every day. Well, every day but Tuesday.
Have you been to that place before, the Persian place?
No. I mean, yeah, I was in there when it was a flying bull.
Oh, yeah. Susie had big aspirations for it.
Yeah.
Didn't meet him.
I was told it's really good, and then unfortunately this is the problem with half of Gettysburg. It's just a little
Yeah, exactly.
for what you get.